What's going on, everyone? I'm Brian, this is Ryan, and today we're going to talk all about things you didn't know you could DTF. So Ryan, what do you tell people when they ask you, what can you press DTF transfers on?
I tell them we can press on anything, and that is virtually true. Pretty much any fabric, any color, any material that, can take the heat from a heat press, you're able to lay a DTF transfer on there, hit it with a heat press, and customize it.
Absolutely. And I would say there's a lot of niche products that people are weary about trying, such as mesh material, denim, something like a tote bag, or nylon, something that's super thin. But really, it presses on all those materials just as good as it would press on something like a cotton or cotton blend.
Absolutely.
And the best thing about it is the same exact heat settings when you're pressing on a niche material like mesh or denim as it would be if you're just pressing on a t-shirt, right? And with mesh, it's perfect for, if you're doing sports with names and numbers, and we have a names and numbers gangsheet right on our page. And I think one of the main things people get wary about with the mesh material specifically is the holes. Obviously, you don't want the holes poking through.
Of course, yeah.
But with our DTF, it's strong enough and it won't actually poke through there unless you forcefully go in and poke holes. It's actually going to take on the texture of the mesh, so when you run your hand over it, you're still going to feel that mesh material, but there's not going to be a bunch of holes in your design.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
It's
not, and in terms of adhesion as well, obviously you're going to be washing these, but that still is not going to cause the issues. The adhesive itself is still going to be bonded to the fabric. Those areas where there are those holes in the mesh aren't going to cause any issues with the integrity and the adhesive or anything like that. So DTF is a, pretty much a picture perfect customization option for, mesh, like pennies, gym shorts, anything along those lines. It's a perfect option for that.
It is. And I would also say it's a perfect option for denim. I don't think a lot of people naturally just jump to DTF when they talk about decorating something like jeans or a denim jacket. But honestly, the great thing about DTF is it's a super lightweight feel. And obviously you're wearing something already kind of heavy when it comes to denim. So you're not adding any more weight to your garment with the DTF, which is kind of nice. Because a lot of the time you'll see embroidery on a denim jacket, or even maybe a screen print, which is going to add a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
And again, same thing applies to denim as it applies to jerseys, right? It's going to take on that texture of the denim. So it's not you're just getting a splash of paint over the denim, right? It's going to feel like that denim still, and it's still going to bring all the vibrant colors that we print, the vividness, all that stuff is still going to come through. It's not going to take on the color of the blue, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. The way we've got it designed is even if you're pressing on a little bit of a darker wash jean like what I have on here, you're not going to say, even if it's a white transfer, the way that we've got our underbase set up, that color is not going to bleed through, so you're still going to get a crisp white. What's great too is denim's super durable in terms of dealing with heat. So being able to kind of press on there is not going to be an issue in that regard either. So it's a perfect kind of marriage between the two.
Absolutely. I would say, going on from that, one of the main products that a lot of people do want to decorate is hats.
Absolutely.
I don't think people jump to DTF transfers as being the no-one solution for hats, but as we say with everything, Ryan, it can be pressed on there and it's still going to look great. It's still the same heat press settings as you would press a t-shirt. Really, the only thing that you have to worry about when it comes to hats is just sizing your design correctly. Yeah. Right? Because we do have direct embroidery on there. So yeah, obviously, if it's direct embroidery, they already have that and there's just when they're embroidering it. So when you upload a design, we have sizing guides on our website to guide you in the right direction when it comes to hats or whatever you're pressing on. So just be cognizant of that when you're getting, something for that. And you definitely want to use a silicone hat cover. You don't want to torch the hat. No one wants to torch the hat.
No. Yeah, it's elastic. And one thing that's nice too about DTF, one thing people ask all the time, because of course they might know you can do DTF on a hat, but they are a little wary, depending on the kind of hat that you have. If it's got one of the seams running down the middle, DTF is still going to be able to adhere just fine going over those seams, especially if you're using a hat press. You're not going to run into any issues there. It might take on a slight texture of the seam. I have a hat that, I wear at trade shows and stuff like that, that had the ninja right over the middle. You really would be able to see that seam on just kind of a standard 6-panel hat, unless you really get in there and take a look. So it is still going to look just fine. Obviously, the large, high-profile truckers, more of a flat panel hat, something like that, obviously gives you that nice smooth surface. But fear not, if you're going on the side where there's a seam, or you're dealing with a 6-panel hat, you can still press it just fine.
All right, so we talked about large niche things, but I would say like the most niche material that anyone will want to decorate is something like a towel or a blanket. And Ryan, what would you say to someone who asks you, can you press DTF transfers on that?
Yeah, would be pretty much my one-word answer. You absolutely can. The one thing I would say in terms of doing a towel or a blanket is make sure there's still more of like a uniform surface. Those super shaggy towels or those blankets that are really, really fluffy can be a little harder to do, but obviously with some heat pressure, it will still kind of flatten it down. But like a microfiber golf towel, people love to do that for golf outings, giveaways, things like that. Same thing with if you're going to the beach with your kids or something like that, you just want to make sure everyone's got their towel. You don't want anyone fighting over it. You can brand it easily with that as well. So working with those, you're not going to run into any issues. But beyond towels and things like that, I've seen people do it on, of course, like nylon drawstring bags. Don't have to worry about that. I've had people order massive transfers put on the side of tent for their college's outdoor club. To kind of brand it there too with a kind of a ripstop nylon. So as long as it can take the heat from a heat press, maybe for those thinner, more sensitive materials, drop the heat down a little bit, but a wide range of fabric products, you're going to be just fine.
And just to bounce off of that, if you're using some sort of protective sheet, like even just parchment paper that we sell in every order, you're not going to actually ruin the garment. If you want to be like 100% certain you're not going to ruin the garment, you can always just use a silicone blend cover. It's near 100% guaranteed. You're not going to scorch something.
And you can up that heat too with the exactly a not super thick, but it is thicker than like a piece of parchment paper or a Teflon sheet. You can even go in with those elevated temperatures on super sensitive garments, and it's not going to cause any issues or scorching from there. It's a great tool to have, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of pressing.
Absolutely. So, like you said, it can take the heat, you can DTF on it. If you have any questions regarding DTF transfers or anything on the Transfers website, leave them in the comments below, and we'll answer on the next video.